So I'm going to share with you some of the techniques that I utilize in my own NCS prep, and hopefully this will help you, give you some ideas to try it out, or just to show you how I incorporated different types of study strategies to my own prep. Hey there, welcome back to another episode of Brain PT. My name is Lily. I'm a neurologic physical therapist, and I'm here to continue last week's episode on the NCS, series, we'll call it, just because this is the season for NCS prep. And I want to say I'm so proud of you if you're here listening to this video, because that means that you are all in this prep process, and I got you, and there's so many exciting things coming up for you to be able to feel more prepared. So today we're going to be talking about, what do I mean by learning in all ways, always? So when you're studying, we typically pick a way that we study. Either that is writing notes, color coding, printing our study guides, highlighting, or typing, or iPad, etc. So what I mean by learning and always, and this is a quote that I always use, and you've seen it before or maybe not, but I mean that you need to engage yourself in other learning strategies and study strategies as you're learning for or studying for a big exam. Whether it's this exam or whether it's another exam, you just need to incorporate several different techniques. So I'm going to share with you some of the techniques that I utilize in my own NCS prep, and hopefully this will help you, give you some ideas to try it out, or just to show you how I incorporated different types of study strategies to my own prep. So to me, it's very important to engage different sensory strategies. And when I mean sensory, I don't mean like touch, etc., right? I mean auditory, visual, kinesthetic, things like that, because I feel like my brain will learn things better if I incorporate different strategies. So the first thing I did is, how I study, I cannot study just reading and highlighting. I just can't study that way. So I need to either do a handwritten guide incorporating, that kinesthetic sense of doing it, and my visual sense, because I incorporate a lot of the color coding and highlighters and color pens, etc. Because when you are studying and recalling, your brain will remember what was in this color, or what was highlighting in this color, or what thing you wrote in purple. So you will start seeing how the brain starts remembering that, and that will help you recall things when you're like retrieving the memory you've created during the studying. I printed all my guides, or I would type them from the video I was watching, and then I would print them and highlight right over them, like engaging myself with the study guide. And then what I would do is, for those topics that were a little bit more difficult, like motor learning or things like that, I would pretend I was teaching in my own room. So I was presenting to the wall the things that I was studying. So for example, if I was studying the cerebellum, and I used to have like a little whiteboard, so I would say, this is the cerebellum, this is the vermis does this, and like just pretending I was teaching to someone else. And that was the kind of learning that, for some reason, it just works very well. And I don't know why I'm still playing with the highlighters, but let's leave that there. So for some reason, it helps really well when you're kind of speaking and talking and retrieving as if you're just talking to someone else. So if you're struggling with a particular topic, the harder topics, I would discover that doing this method would would actually help me remember better. Other strategy that I would use to kind of switch it up was when I was driving, I would put in a podcast, whether from the vestibular SIGs or from the stroke SIG or from like any neurology thing. Let's say today I was looking at UVH, unilateral vestibular hypofunction, and those were topics that were really hard for me. So hearing them and actually studying them and going through like all the different sensory or senses would really make an impact. Like I still remember to this day, 3 years later, what podcast I was listening that was talking about this certain vestibular test that they were doing, so I still remember that because I was incorporating different senses in my studying. Now, the other thing is like, okay, if you're visual and besides the highlighting, the writing, all of that, make sure that you look out videos, like videos in YouTube. It doesn't have to be the videos from your own prep. If something gets too monotone, which can get too monotone, I highly suggest looking for something that might feel good to look at, like something that is a good video, a good animation. Maybe there's a presentation out in YouTube that you really enjoy. Maybe it's a video from the Brain PT. So I would find something that is engaging and you're looking at it and it's good to look at, it's fun to look at. That way you're also, delivering some serotonin and dopamine. So far we've talked about reading and printing and engaging and writing and talking and hearing. So other things that you might find useful in your studying that you feel like might be a good thing to do and incorporate all your senses, these are going to be good to try out. Do not stick with one study method. Try to engage your senses, all your senses. A touch, I don't know, maybe you have a pen that writes, fine. I don't know how to incorporate the sense of touch in studying. But auditory, visual, all of those senses, and we call it learning, your learning techniques, or the type of learners, I would say. Combining all those things will make an impact in your studying. So I really hope this helps someone out there to know how to maximize and optimize their study strategy. There's many different things you can use. Whiteboards, there are, iPads. Maybe you like to illustrate, maybe you can start drawing. I like to have everything colorful. Try the color. You will see that your brain remembers colors. And I hope these strategies are somehow helpful for you. So I will see you next week with another episode in this NCS series, and I'll see you next time.